Good morning, Christoph.
Morning. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Thanks for hopping on the masterclass this morning. I think there's a couple more still to come on. I think Paul's with us. Paul's not connected his microphone and camera yet, but it'd be good to see Paul as well.
Good.
This is being recorded, just so you're aware. It's going out live on LinkedIn. We also push it out live to YouTube as well. But great that you're with us. In terms of kind of email marketing, that's going to be the subject today that we're looking at. Have you done much email marketing, Christoph?
No, I honestly haven't, and want to look into it. Did some stuff in the past with a few of the automation elements, but yeah, we just didn't really get stuck into it all that much, and it's still a powerful tool.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Hello to Louise. Louise has joined us as well. Feel free to come on the turn your camera on, connect with your mic as well. Just makes it a little bit more interactive if there's a few more people that contribute towards the session as well. Hi, Louise.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi.
We were just discussing, so today's session, we're looking at email marketing, how to effectively follow up with prospects via email marketing. And it'd be great to just hear your experience of that so far.
Oh God, it's hard, isn't it? I mean, I run a recruitment agency, and this year is definitely a lot tougher than the last couple of years, without a doubt. So for me, as you said, the follow up, etc., because it is in the follow up, isn't it? It's just at the moment, companies are getting bombarded by so many different recruiters. It's trying to, kind of cut through that noise a little bit, really. So yeah, I'm here to pick up any hints and tips. That'd be great.
Excellent. Well, thanks for popping on the call. Hi, Paul. Great to have you with us again this week, and Andre as well. I think you guys were with us last week as well, where we looked at kind of the step before this, which was about connecting with people on LinkedIn, and this is kind of like the natural follow-up. So I'm just going to do a quick screen share, run through a bit of the agenda, what's on the agenda today. So we are looking at email marketing. That's the focus. I'm going to run through a quick introduction, 5 steps to kind of prepare, although that says preparate. And I think there's a spelling mistake on that slide, but we're going to look at best practices for that follow-up, what that looks like, tools, including ChatGPT, how we can leverage modern AI tools to kind of create really effective email subject lines and body copy. And then we'll look at kind of how I use automation tools to absolutely, do this on autopilot for me, which is a real eye opener if you've never tried any automation before. And then we'll have an open Q&A session. So the sessions typically run around about 45 minutes. I'll just kind of rabbit on, but feel free to put your hand up if you've got any questions or you want me to explain a bit further as we go along. So just a quick introduction. I'm Alex Smith, and I'm the founder of Leadith. Leadith is a LinkedIn lead generation tool that automates the process of connecting you with prospects on LinkedIn. And I also run several products that all the way from do it for you, all the way through to you do it yourself. So meet a lot of budgets and a lot of different clients. Throughout this session this morning, though, you're going to learn best practices and proven steps to kind of get this email marketing bit nailed and get it working effectively for you. So where does this fit in with the whole thing? Let's just have a look at this basic marketing funnel. I always kind of bring up these. I think they're quite fundamental in terms of what we're doing. As you can see, this is a classic marketing model. It describes the customer journey right away from that first touch point, the awareness, to the purchase and beyond. And it's called a funnel because, as you can see, the number of potential customers decreases at every single stage. So it's important that this awareness stage is kind of you getting you out there. Obviously, email marketing is used at almost every element of this funnel, which is why it's so foundational and so important. We use what's traditionally called cold email outreach or cold email marketing. That's when we put a message out there to a prospect. We don't know who they are. We've just picked up an email address maybe from a database or something like that. You've got the interest stage where they're considering you. As they come down that funnel, they might click on your website. They might sign up to some free value-add ebook that you've got, or some content that you're producing regularly. And then you can follow up with some nice email pieces throughout that journey. And that just kind of sets you apart. It gives a bit of trust, credibility as they kind of start to do business with you. The modern version of this is called the flywheel effect. And it starts with this attract. We engage the customers, we delight them, and then they become advocates for what we do. And then that in turn invites more people into our marketing mix, marketing circle. So bit of an introduction. So today we're going to discuss how to kind of automate those emails after you connect with a prospect on LinkedIn. And then we'll also dip into what I call bulk email marketing tools. So these are the tools like MailChimp. I'm a big fan of MailerLite. And those tools can have a really effective rate at like engaging with your audience and driving them to the next step. So in previous masterclasses, we've discussed the overview of kind of a LinkedIn lead generation strategy, how to find prospects using different searches on LinkedIn, how to optimize pages, your profile page on LinkedIn. Again, we're dipping into AI in everything we do because it's our friend. It's so good to kind of use that data to bounce ideas off. So once again, today, we're going to use it to kind of look at how we can apply it with what we're doing with emails. If you've not seen any of the previous sessions that we've done, have a look at youtube.com/leadeth. That will take you to all the previous masterclasses that I've done. It's an 11-week cycle, and we kind of recycle that after 11 weeks, but just improving on it every time based on kind of your feedback. So the Leadeth roadmap is very much about starting at the bottom. My clients often don't know what they're doing on LinkedIn. They've kind of been collecting prospects or customers and connecting with people on LinkedIn for a number of years, but they've not actually leveraged it and got sales out of it. And that's what I help people do. So we identify a target audience. That's all about looking at who your perfect client is, looking at their habits, and then we look at how to prime your personal profile. Last week we looked at LinkedIn outreach automation. This week, the natural follow-up to that is the email outreach piece, and it just works hand in hand. Having an omni-channel approach where you can connect with someone via LinkedIn messages and then bring that back to an email, it kind of takes the conversation off LinkedIn, but you can do a full circle and go back on LinkedIn on a lot of conversation-y stuff just to give them nudges and things. So it works really well together with LinkedIn marketing. Next week, we'll be looking at video content marketing. That's how all about kind of upping your game in terms of video, putting yourself out there, setting you apart really as a creative thinker in your specific industry and your landscape where you are. So you can, receive inbound inquiries. So it's not always just outbound off your own back. And then the sixth element to what we do is all about appointment setting, having a CRM tool in place that will capture all those leads so you can then nurture them using automated techniques. Some quick stats then, as we look into kind of email marketing. This was pulled from HubSpot. HubSpot is a email marketing CRM tool. It's free, it's great, it's a fantastic bit of kit. 4 billion daily email users, 37% of brands are increasing their email budget at the moment. And the majority of marketers email leverage mobile-friendly emails as part of their marketing strategy. And that will come in a bit later when we talk about, what we're going to put in those emails. Subscriber segmentation, because that's all about splitting out your audience, finding the ones that are more active than the others, different industry sectors within your niche. You can kind of drill down that audience and send them something a bit more focused. So that's always really good. Number 5 there, 33% of marketers send weekly emails and 26 send multiple times per month. So that gives you some sort of indication in terms of what other people are doing in terms of frequency with email marketing. And it does seem quite a daunting thing. You've got to run your own business. You've got to do this, do that. And you've got to create this email sequence now every single week. So sometimes it's just one thing too much for people. But if you crack it, it can be very rewarding. Certainly, I've seen my own results with dipping into email marketing as well, and it's a fundamental piece of the Leadeth framework. And for this reason, 77% of marketers have seen an increase in email engagement over the last 12 months. So email is very much where it's at. So if anyone tells you it's not a great strategy, you can expect a really poor open rate. quite possibly that's because they're doing it wrong. And we're going to look into how to do it correctly today. So I've put together some strategies. So this first bit, we talk about deliverability. And before we go into that, I just want to put out there to Paul and Andre, in terms of email marketing, have you guys done much email marketing at all?
I didn't do any at all.
No?
So far.
Okay. How about yourself, Paul? Oh, you're muted. We had this problem last week, didn't we? I'm just going to let Sheila in the room as well. Don't know if Paul, maybe pop your experiences in the chat, Paul. Welcome, Sheila. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll crack on for the time being. It was just to see whether you guys were all new to it. Yeah, Christoph, as you said, you've had some, you dabbled with it previously in the past. So this might be a bit of a refresher going through some of this prep stuff. But when we talk about deliverability, it's about making sure your emails are actually going to get to the intended recipient. And as an email marketer, you want to make sure that your messages don't end up in people's spam folders or get bounced back. So that's why preparing is vital to the success. I've got some bangs next door neighbors putting up a shed, so apologies if you can hear that in the background. So during the session, we're going to cover best practices in terms of technical configuration. So some of this is quite detailed. We'll look at something called DKIM and some other essential settings that are going to help you to increase the chances of getting this email delivered to their inbox. So by the end of the session, you should have a clear understanding in terms of what you need to do going forward. You'll have a five bullet points that we'll run through. So let's dive in. The first thing I always recommend my clients to do is get a new domain. So having a separate email account specifically for your email outreach. And this will help you to avoid the email being blacklisted and not delivered. So when you're conducting that email outreach, it's important to be aware that that you can make mistakes as you go along. So if you're doing mistakes and you do something wrong, if it's done on a not your main domain that you're sending day-to-day emails on, the impact is not going to be huge to your business if you were blocked or something and your email account blocked. So always do it on a completely separate domain name. That's quite important. Especially when we talk about cold email. So when we talk about email marketing, there's two different things here. There's the bulk sending to cold people, and then there's the kind of the smaller numbers to a specific audience who are kind of ready to receive your message. They're a bit warmer. And sometimes we use different tools depending on what we're doing and who we're writing to. So think about getting that domain. I've got leadith.io. That's my main domain. That's where my website sits. And day-to-day emails, I have a alex@leadith.io, which is what I'm checking. All my email marketing stuff is being pushed from alex.smith@leadith.co.uk. So I've actually got a .co.uk domain, which I use purely just for the email marketing. So if anything was to happen, too many unsubscribers or whatever in a mailing software, we're going to kind of restrict my email, or I need a new domain, then I can work around that and it's not going to affect my main domain. So that's why I do it. Another advantage is convenience. Obviously, having all those responses coming into one separate inbox is going to make your life easier to manage. You'll be in the frame of mind of, let's check all the email marketing responses at this specific time on the day, and you can go through, check for any messages that have come back and respond to them. Whereas if they're coming into your day-to-day activities, it starts to affect your productivity, I feel. So it just avoids that confusion. So there's a couple of reasons why we do that. Secondly, it's vital to look at warming up that new domain. So if you've actually bought a new domain name and you've registered an email box on that domain name, so many cold email senders will obviously overlook this warm-up process, and typically it takes around about 2 weeks. What it consists of is sending some sample emails from your new warm-up email domain address to other addresses. There's a lot of great tools out there on the market that do this for you on autopilot over a set period. One that I've used in the past is a warm-up inbox. It looks a little bit like this. Warm-up inbox. There's a 7 free day trial, and then it's very inexpensive. So it's a couple of dollars a month, and you can basically add a new email account, and it starts to send email messages out all on autopilot to warm it up over a set period. So if you just have a look at, I'm just going to try and log into mine if I can, just to show you what this tool's doing. Okay, so once you've added an inbox, it'll appear here. You can see, and then it will tell you how many emails it's sent, how many are going into spam, and it's all just kind of, once you set it up, it just runs, and your email box is now warmed up. So I've actually paused mine because mine is running, so I haven't had to do anything to it. But that's a great little feature if you're new to kind of email marketing, setting up these deliverable inboxes. And incidentally, I use Google Workspace. Google Workspace will allow you to send about 2,000 emails on a daily basis, whereas a free Gmail account is restricted to around about 200 emails on a daily basis. So that's warm up inbox, vital to kind of warm up that inbox to kind of avoid those spam filters with other email marketing servers. The next section we're going to look at is something a bit more technical. It's called SPF and DKIM. So what this is, SPF basically stands for Sender Policy Framework, and it's a protocol that allows email recipients to verify that the emails are being sent from a legit email address, an authorized email address. And it basically works by you going into whoever you buy your domain from, whether it's GoDaddy or someone like that, you can basically set up this SPF tag within your provider, and then that knows it's a legit official domain that an email is coming from. Obviously, a lot of people just create email accounts left, right, and center for spam, for trying to get people's credit card details and trying to entice them into things. So it's important that you do it correctly and you link your domain with an SPF tag. The DKIM, that stands for Domain Keys Identified Mail, and that's basically another authentication protocol, very similar to SPF, but what that is adds a digital signature to all your emails. And when you've got this digital signature, it just verifies all the recipients. So the way to set that up is, again, going into your domain, whoever it is with, whether it's GoDaddy, 123reg, or whoever you're buying the domain off, you go in there and you look for something called DNS, and within the DNS, you can add this thing called a DKIM record. So yeah, that's what I do with a lot of my pro plan clients, just to make sure their emails are all ready and warmed up. There are other tools out there that you can use to check the email, and we'll go into them in a moment. But obviously this step is very dependent on your technical setup, who you're buying the domain off. All those domain companies will provide you with support. If you just mention these SPF and DKIM records, they'll basically do it for you if you raise a ticket with them. Some tools like the Leaders tool, which I'll show right at the end of the masterclass, we don't have to actually put in any SPF or DKIM rules because we actually use something called SMTP to send emails back and forth. We use your email credentials, so that bit's not required for us. Yeah, so that's all about kind of encryption and making sure the emails are set up in a secure way. The next kind of critical thing here is to gradually increase the email sending, and that's key to email deliverability. Obviously, if you were to set up a brand new domain, no email blacklist servers are aware of that domain. Suddenly, it's going to look a bit dodgy if you're sending out 2,000 emails on a daily basis. So the secret here is to start really slow and kind of ramp that up over a 2-week period. So yeah, that's kind of what the key takeaway is there. So if you start from maybe 5 a day and then increase it up to 20 a day or more, that will help. Obviously, if you're ramping it up too quickly, that's gonna affect the outreach. So yeah, that warm-up process is quite important to do. Finally, the 5th step here is to verify the reputation of your domain name, and there's lots of tools out there that you can use to do that. If you're a huge corporate company, you can use a tool called Talos. I'll just take you to Talos. This is made by Cisco Systems, but basically we can put a domain name in. I'm just going to put Microsoft.com. That will check that domain against all the spam servers. So you can see which servers that it's recognizing. It'll also tell you how many kind of email volume, on a monthly basis. It gives you a lot of stats in terms of emails and what you're doing. So yeah, that's one website you can use, a free site to check your domain reputation. The other site that I've used previously is called mail-tester.com. Mail Tester, what this does is it gives you a fake email address just for testing. You can then send an email from your email tool to this fake address. And then once you click check your score, what it will do is actually tell you whether your domain name has been registered in any spam servers. It tells you the deliverability rates and everything. So initially up front, I tend to use this tool when I'm creating the accounts. And when I've done it, I do a week, do a test after a week, do a test after 2 weeks just to check, and then do another test maybe after 3 weeks, once we start actually pushing some live campaigns out on email, just to make sure that we're not, all our emails are not going into spam folders and things like that. So yeah, that's quite a lot of detail there, quite a technical thing, but yeah, choose a separate domain, dedicated domain for your outbound outreach. Set up an email account is vital for starters. Just one will do. Obviously, if you're doing lots of email marketing, you might want to think about multiple email boxes and things. Set up your SFP and your DKIM records with your domain registrar, and then gradually increase the sending of emails. Warm up inbox does it all for you. It will start low and build it up for you. There are other tools out there. And then fifthly, just verify the reputation of your domain just to make sure it's on the way up. So there's some key steps in terms of preparing for an email marketing campaign. And obviously the key is in the preparation. If you do all this preparation, that's going to ensure you get a better open rate, a better response rate on the back of the campaigns. So some best practices for kind of following up with email. So this is a bit more practical now. So I'm a big fan of Donald Miller's book, Story Brand. Here it is, this one here. Building a story brand. It tells you how to write with clarity so your customers will listen. It's a fantastic book. If you've not got a copy, it's not too expensive, but it sets out a framework of how you can write in a really effective way that's going to engage and give people give them clarity over what to do next. So this is vital. So when we look at this framework, it sits around 7 key elements, and these can be applied to anything that you're doing, whether it's writing an email, whether it's writing a LinkedIn message campaign, whether it's designing a website and you want to know what to put on that landing page. The first thing is having a clear understanding of the customer's problem. We did quite a bit of this in one of the first sessions where we kind of honed in on our target market, on our customers. What is it that our customers, what is their main pain point, their problem? And then we think about what are the benefits of solving that problem. So what does the success look like for them? What are they going to achieve by solving that problem that they've got currently? The third bit he focuses on is having a plan for solving that problem. And if you can simplify this plan into kind of a 3-step sequence, so you have to do this, 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 and that's the plan. The customer knows there's clarity there. It's very simple. The fourth thing is you spell out what the consequences are for not solving that problem. So for them, if they don't take the action with you, what is it that's going to affect them? Okay. The fifth element is having a clear call to action. So this will be, often called the C2A. What is it that you want them to do next? Every bit of communication that you put out there, every website you write must have a clear call to action. And so have a think about that. Is it prominent? I mean, I was just going through my own landing pages and making sure, it's clear. Have a button at the top, in the middle, at the bottom. What is it you want them to do next? Make sure that's clear. Number 6 is having this vision of success and selling this vision of success. What does the success look like to them? And that is a kind of bit of a game changer when people can see that for themselves. And the seventh thing he picks out on his frameworks is having a role of the business as the guide to help customers achieve success. So your role is you're guiding people to help them achieve that success. So they're not doing it alone. That's what your job is, to guide them through this whole process. So I hope you found that helpful. So yeah, by following that framework, obviously you're going to create this clear and compelling message, and that's going to resonate with your audience. It's going to motivate them to take action. So as I say, we can apply this technique to an email marketing sequence as well. I'm just going to move on to this next bit where we're going to actually dive in and start to create a bit of a sequence. We're going to use something called OpenAI. ChatGPT is, since about January this year, It's been made widely available. It's basically using artificial intelligence, a tool that's going to help us to write. Just going to have a quick round robin. Is everyone still at speed with what I'm up to? I'm seeing a few nods. Great. Christoph, have you used ChatGPT before?
Yeah, loads.
Great.
It's
Excellent.
incredible.
Yeah,
It's
it is. Yeah. Louise, how about yourself? Have you yeah, excellent. Well, I'd love to see this. You're pioneering marketers using the technology. And Paul, since kind of last week, have you embraced it a little bit more? Yeah.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Andre, how about yourself?
I didn't get any time at all.
That's always the way, isn't it? There's other things that move.
But I'm itching to do that.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, and I'll show you a couple of examples how we might be able to use this. So, just to go straight into it, I've logged into ChatGPT. I'm actually using something here called AirPRM, and it's basically a plugin. It's a Chrome extension plugin that changes what ChatGPT does and adds extra prompts. These prompts, there's a public library here. So I've just searched within the public library for email subject. Okay. And basically you've got this free prompt, output in what language you want, what sort of tone you want, and what's the kind of writing style that you want. And then we can insert a bit of content here in terms of any offers that we've got or descriptions. And then it's going to come spit out some really good subject lines. So my content would be a weekly masterclass on LinkedIn lead generation. Can't spell, come on. LinkedIn lead generation, and you can keep it quite short and sweet. That's fine. Oh, and we've got some in the style of M&M's here. I don't know why we've got in the style of Eminem, but Eminem is a famous rapper, so it's obviously styled it in his sort of style as he would do it, which is fantastic. As a money-making expert, so obviously we've got that. You've got a third idea in a sensational manner, some excellent revolutionize your lead generation game, some really good ideas, an outlandish, humorous way. So adding a bit of humor to the subject lines there, and then making puns. So adding little puns into the subject line. So there's some creative ways. If you're stuck for kind of what to do, obviously you can utilize ChatGPT to really create some effective email marketing subject lines that are going to encourage open rates. If you just go to a new chat, so we close this one down, just go to, so please can you script me an initial follow-up email to be sent to a LinkedIn. I'll just put a new LinkedIn connection to include the story brand framework by Donald Miller. So here we go. Hope this message finds you well. Thank you for accepting my LinkedIn connection request. Excited to connect with you and learn more about your professional background, which is great. It kind of puts them at the forefront of the message. As I was reviewing your profile, I noticed that you have experience in ... whatever industry they might be in. And obviously this would be a kind of semi-automatic way of doing it because we'd have to fill in the blanks. I myself am also passionate about this field, and I believe we can both learn a lot from each other. In the spirit of sharing knowledge, I wanted to introduce you to the story brand framework. This is actually talking about the story brand framework, actually in the style. So if you want more relevant questions, we can go in the style of reviewing. Please ask me relevant questions about my target audience and CTA, which is what we want them to do next. So if you actually ask ChatGPT to ask us a few questions first, here we go. Can you tell me a bit more about your target audience? Who are you trying to reach with this email? What are their pain points or challenges that the framework can address? And how would you like the CTA to be in this email? Are you trying to have a scheduled call, send more information, or something else? Knowing your desired outcome will help you tailor the language and tone of the email. So obviously, if you now go back to it and actually put in those bits of extra information, that's going to help you to really kind of craft something that's going to be very, very appropriate to that specific audience.
Alex,
So, yep.
Alex, sorry, quick question. I have Chat GPT, and I actually have the paid for subscription. How do you get this? How do you get this extension that you're using into Chat GPT?
So it's basically called it's called AIPRM for GPT. So if you go to it,
Okay.
Let's see if I can just find it quickly. AIPRM. It's called a Chrome extension. So you have to use the Chrome extension. Yeah. So if you just Google AIPRM for ChatGPT, that's the one. Millions of people have downloaded it. And then you just click install and it adds it to your ChatGPT then.
Right.
Again, there are paid versions of this with better prompts and things. Yeah. But yeah, if you go to New Chat, you can see all the public ones. So there are paid plans to get better ones. But yeah, that was just an email subject line creator. There are others for email bodies. I'm not sure if there's one for LinkedIn. Let's just have a look. Yep. So LinkedIn post creators are quite good. So if you're looking for creating content in terms of to go out with your LinkedIn, it's very good at creating some nice juicy engagement posts that are going to and polls are really good. So if you want it to create you a poll that you think is going to engage with your audience, that's a really good use for it as well. So yeah, that's kind of ChatGPT. So in terms of kind of what I'm doing on my own stuff, I can more than happy to share that in this next part, which is where we look at the automation side. So this is the Leadith platform. As I say, it's basically a sales engagement platform, which helps me to automatically connect with prospects and then engage with them, build up conversations with them. And let's just give this a refresh. Come on. So within this software, we've connected our personal LinkedIn accounts because people buy from people as opposed to a company page or anything like that. And we've basically can create an unlimited number of campaigns. And that could be for something specifically that we're doing. So for me, I've got this one here. This is like personal branding event. So to put this into context, someone else ran an event on LinkedIn. I've then said I'm going to that event myself, scraped around about 900 people who also attended the event, and I'm now sending them to a campaign to connect with them and engage with them. And it starts a bit like a funnel. We start at the top. The first action is to view their profile, and this is all happening on autopilot whilst I'm doing other things. If we're now connected with them, so that we have this delay here, and we can adjust this delay. So if we want a 3-day delay, we can check it in 3 days' time to see if they're connected, which is a very powerful tool. We've got these conditions. So for me, I send them a message, and the message is, "Hi, I see you attended this event by such and such last week. It's actually last month now, so I'll update it. What's the biggest takeaway from the event?" is something that I ask them just to kind of build a bit of rapport with them. And then we go down to the next step, and that's where we actually look at sending an email. So on LinkedIn, we can collect their email address. And obviously under GDPR, that's legitimate consent. If they're accepting your connection request, I always see that as fair game for you to then send them an email follow-up. So the natural step is a nice follow-up email. We can come in here and say, what email address do we want to send it to? Do the work email address, the personal email address, or we've got these things called enriched email addresses. And then we're basically sending out quite personalized, so we can use their first name in it. Personalization is key to email marketing. If you want better response rates and things, always include personalization. We can also include, their occupation, the company name, how long they've been in business and stuff like that. So if that's relevant, or we can add our own custom fields, which is where you might want to add something like an AI tool to add icebreaker introductions and things like that. So that's really cool. And then what that does in effect is then just pushes that out as an email. So for me, I'm just coming into the tool on a a daily basis. I go to my inbox, I can see there's 29 kind of unread messages. I then just have to filter through, have a look at those that are unread or those that have replied to campaigns. And it's just a matter of working through these contacts who are responding. And when you click on them, we can then see, let's try another one. I've got failed to fetch at the moment, got a bit of a bug here. We can see all the LinkedIn output on the back of the message. Okay, so someone here wasn't able to attend an event, and I need to follow up with her and say, you can catch the recording or come back next week. But we can also see any emails. So if she'd replied to the automatic emails, we would see that in here as well. So yeah, that's what we're doing, and it's all kind of pretty much on autopilot. Now, once they're connected with you on LinkedIn, what the smart people do is push those connections into a mailing database. So I actually use something called MailerLite. There's a link in the description. I'll also follow up with links to all these tools as well. MailerLite can create these things called automation marketing sequences. So I've got one here. As soon as so I haven't got one for my initial LinkedIn contacts. I've just got a standard campaign for those, but we can go into these. This is, for example, you've probably received this one. This is the lead generation welcome email. So it kicks off with a introductory welcome email. For this one, I used HTML, so it's got graphics and it's quite a visual piece. So it will probably go into a few spam folders. But then the follow-up message 1 month later, the follow-up message 2 months later is just plain text with kind of just bare links. So it's really kind of plain looking email because that gets better open rates. So this is an email marketing tool for creating bulk campaigns for big numbers. So if you wanted to create a campaign in here for all your LinkedIn connections going forward, you would use a software tool like Leadith to do a big export of all the people that are connected with you. You'll get as many emails as you can. But if you've been connecting with people proactively, regularly, using your 100 a week allowance, you've got a captive audience that are ready to hear from you with an email or a follow-up campaign. So often when clients come on board, that's the biggest, quickest win. It's going out to their existing network, finding people that they've connected with. Some people have been connecting for people for over years, and just sent a hi, we're now connected message, and that's it. The conversation ends there. It's such a waste because potentially these prospects are ready to buy from you, ready to hear about your services. So yeah, that's a very effective way at marketing. I've been rabbiting on far too long, so I'm going to open it up to the floor for you guys a little bit more. Happy to take some questions or just explore your thoughts around kind of this whole kind of email marketing strategy that I've been working on. Anyone want to chip in? Sorry, I've not been monitoring the chat proactively.
That's fine. It's obtaining the email addresses. There's so much. I get approached by all sorts of people. Oh, we've got this database and that database and whatever. Yep. Obviously, I don't want to be buying database because I don't know how legit that is and where they got it from and all of that. But it's just obtaining email addresses. Are you saying you just build it up as you do on LinkedIn, as people connect, you're just building up over time?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. So ultimately, you've probably already got, how many connections are you at on LinkedIn?
I think it's 1,100 and something, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a good possibility that at least half of those, you can get the emails from at least half of those people that have freely shared their email address on their profiles. So straight away, that's a nice little campaign that you can run just to update all your prospects. Obviously, you could filter them using things like Sales Navigator to say, first degree connections. I just want the relevant people, the most size companies. Another great tool, if you want to slowly kind of build up the email marketing system, is to look at Apollo. Apollo basically has a search tool very similar to Sales Navigator, and it's actually got an email sequence that you can build in the platform. And the free version allows you to get, I think it's up to 50 new prospects every single month. So you can actually do a search. I've actually got some saved searches that I've done previously. Let's try and find them. Can't find them. Oh, I'm in a company search. That's why. If you go over to people search here, and you've got personas. So you can actually set up personas. So if you're a technology business, you can say, I want to find prospects who are just using Microsoft tools, or I want to find people that are just using the WooCommerce platform on their website, which is quite good. So that's buying intent as well. So you can see, unlock all these things. The premium people, you can actually start to unlock to get better filtered prospects, but you can sort by the number of employees. That's all pretty standard stuff. Company name, job title. One that I typically use is, just trying to find it for you. None's coming up in my searches, but persona, I've got this marketing leaders one, 16,000. It's basically a preset saved search that I have. So I've got I've used up my lead allowance. So I have 60 this month. But the idea is you can then click on these prospects and then access their email address, and that costs 1 credit. So you get so many credits when you join. I can send a link to give you more credits when you join up. But yeah, that's one really good tool, because you can then just click on the relevant ones, export them out to a CSV file, put them into your email system, or go straight directly into a sequence. So I've got some sequences, email marketing sequences that I've ran previously. So yeah, one for marketing directors. Yeah, in terms of open rate, so this is based on the last couple of weeks. So it's, yeah, delivered 144, 61 have opened, which is 42% open rate, and 4% have replied to that campaign, which is quite good. Yeah, it's not perfect, but in terms of email marketing, it's a relative audience to me. So that's why I see a good rate there. But yeah, in terms of getting a really decent reply rate, it's personalization. So we actually use something called AI, a tool called Leadzilla, to actually personalize the icebreaker. So within this first section, we can put in an icebreaker, which is really cool. But yeah, so Apollo's a really good shout for data if you're looking for kind of goodish quality data. And you're looking to build out that database in terms of cold people. But by far the best thing you could be doing is using an automation tool like Leadith to connect with people, connect with prospects, and in return, you're kind of building up the audience of people you want to be in front of. You're collecting their data. It does take time, but obviously if you don't get started, you're delaying it. Every week you delay it, that's potentially 100 people that you can connect with that you're not connecting with. So the sooner you get started with it, the better. Yeah, in my experience. So yeah, does that answer in terms of email finding people?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Great. Okay. Well, I mean, that's kind of concludes the masterclass for this week. As I say, next week we're looking at video content marketing. So that's the 5th element of the Leadith roadmap, and that's producing, relevant video content, short 1 to 2 minute pieces to kind of set you apart from your competitors. So feel free to hop on. It's the same. It should be the same link for that. But yeah, hope you found this useful. Feel free to hop on if I've not had a one-to-one strategy call with you. Highly recommend that. That allows us to kind of get to know you a bit better. We basically build out a strategy for lead generation that's going to help you to achieve more results. And I'll drop a link in the chat so you can book on one of those. It's where's the chat gone? There it is. https leadith.io/strategy. It's in the chat. So if you want to catch up on a one-to-one with me to discuss, how we could work together, or you're just curious to hear some more strategies from me, I'd love to learn a bit more about your businesses and see what you guys are up to as well. But yeah, that's everything from me today. Thanks for coming along.